My wife's best friend convinced her I was cheating, leading to a violent mental breakdown. Now, after a devastating tragedy, that same friend demands to speak at my wife's funeral. My wife and I welcomed our beautiful baby daughter last December. Sadly, it was an incredibly traumatic birth, and my wife developed severe postpartum depression. Since she couldn't return to work as originally planned, we decided she would stay home while I took on a high-intensity project at work with massive overtime to keep us financially afloat. We agreed her best childhood friend Jessie would come over during the day to help watch our daughter. At first, I was incredibly grateful for the extra support. 3 weeks into the intense project, my boss asked for a few more weeks of overtime. I agreed, but my wife suddenly grew cold and distant. One night, I came home exhausted and went straight to check on our sleeping daughter. Behind me, I heard Jessie whisper to my wife, "He didn't even stop to greet you. Definitely a sign." I turned around, shocked, only for Jessie to start screaming and accusing me of having an ongoing secret affair. Jessie aggressively demanded to see my phone. I refused her, but when my wife nodded with tears in her eyes, something inside me completely broke. I handed the phone to my wife. There was absolutely nothing to find, but Jessie immediately claimed I must have deleted all the evidence before coming home. She kept screaming hysterically, eventually waking up our daughter. Furious and deeply hurt, I finally ordered Jessie to get out of my house. After putting our daughter back to sleep, I sat down with my wife. I showed her my work emails, timestamp messages, and pay stubs to prove my overtime was real. She apologized and wept, admitting that Jessie had been whispering poison in her ear for weeks, convincing her I was cheating. I tried to move past it, but the seed of resentment was planted. I realized my wife didn't trust me. The stress became completely unbearable, and I decided to seek therapy to manage my own mental health. But the very next day, I came home to absolute chaos. Our bedroom and my home office were completely torn apart. Papers and important documents were scattered everywhere, and my wife was gone. Worst of all, she had left our infant daughter crying all alone in her crib with her cell phone turned off. Later that evening, Jessie drove my wife back to the house. My wife ran inside, screaming hysterically that my therapy was just a front to meet a mistress. Before I could even defend myself, she lost complete control and physically attacked me, breaking my nose. Terrified, I grabbed our crying baby, locked us inside her bedroom, and called my mother. We fled to my parents' house, and I immediately filed a formal police report. We separated immediately, and her parents began arranging inpatient psychiatric treatment for her. But that Sunday night, my wife suddenly showed up at my parents' house demanding to take our daughter. Because she had recently abandoned our baby and broken my nose, I refused to let her leave with her. She left in a furious rage. Just a few hours later, she drove her car directly into a tree. She died instantly in the crash. Just 2 days after the tragic crash, Jessie showed up at my door. Shedding crocodile tears, she casually announced that she would be speaking at my wife's funeral. I looked her dead in the eyes and told her absolutely not. She threw a massive fit, calling me an asshole. But my grieving in-laws, who have known Jessie since childhood, are begging me to let her speak to avoid any public scene. I am utterly sick to my stomach. Jessie is the one who poisoned my wife's fragile mind, cheered on her mental breakdown, and ultimately drove her to tragic suicide. The thought of watching her stand at the pulpit, eulogizing the woman she helped destroy, makes me physically ill. But I am so completely drained by grief and guilt. Do I stand my ground, or do I let her speak to keep the fragile peace?